Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more English story. The power of purpose. I've often wondered what drives people to wake up each morning with fire in their eyes and determination in their hearts. For most of my life, I lacked that spark. I moved from one day to the next like a boat drifting without a compass. That is, until a single moment of clarity transformed everything. The search for something more. For years, I lived a life that seemed fine on the surface. I had a stable job, friends to talk to, and enough money to get by. But deep down, I felt a void, a gnawing sense that I was meant for something more. I filled my time with distractions, social media, television, and endless conversations about meaningless things. But no matter what I did, the feeling of emptiness always returned. One rainy afternoon, as I stared out the window of my apartment, I asked myself, what am I really doing with my life? The silence that followed was unsettling. A chance encounter. A week later, while browsing in a secondhand bookstore, I stumbled upon a tattered book titled Find Your Why. Intrigued, I flipped through the pages and read stories of people who had discovered their purpose and transformed their lives. One sentence stood out to me. Purpose isn't found, it's created through action and reflection. I decided that day to stop waiting for inspiration to strike and start actively searching for my purpose. Taking the first step. My first step was simple. I began journaling every night. I wrote about what made me happy, what drained me, and what moments in my life felt truly meaningful. Patterns began to emerge. I noticed that I felt alive when helping others, whether it was mentoring a colleague or volunteering at a local shelter. But I also realized that I had been neglecting these moments, brushing them off as insignificant. The turning point. One Saturday morning, I signed up to volunteer at a youth center. Walking in, I felt a mix of excitement and doubt. Could I really make a difference? I spent the day teaching kids how to paint, sharing tips I had learned during my own creative experiments. Watching their faces light up with pride as they completed their artwork stirred something deep within me. For the first time in years, I felt fulfilled, living with purpose. That day at the youth center was the beginning of a new chapter. I started carving out more time to mentor and support others. And the more I gave, the more I received. Purpose, I realized, isn't about grand gestures or finding one perfect passion. It's about small, meaningful actions that align with your values and make you feel connected to something bigger than yourself. The ripple effect. As I embraced my purpose, other areas of my life began to shift. I became more confident, more driven, and more grateful. My relationships improved because I was no longer seeking validation from others. I found it within myself by living a life of meaning. One day, a friend asked me, "How do you stay so motivated?" I smiled and replied, "It's not about motivation, it's about knowing why I do what I do." An invitation. If you've ever felt lost or unfulfilled, know this: you have the power to create your purpose. Start small. Reflect on what brings you joy and fulfillment, and take one step toward it. Purpose isn't a destination. It's a journey of discovery and action. The power of purpose can transform your life if you're willing to pursue it. The Power of Purpose, Part 2. I didn't realize it at first, but finding my purpose had a domino effect. The small choices I made each day began to weave a new narrative for my life. Challenges along the way. Living with purpose wasn't always easy. There were days when I questioned if I was doing the right thing or if my efforts even mattered. One evening, after a particularly challenging day at the youth center, I felt defeated. A boy I had been mentoring refused to listen to me, lashing out in frustration. I began to wonder if I was really making a difference. But then, the next morning, I received a small hand-drawn card from another child that simply said, "Thank you for helping me believe in myself." That single moment reminded me why I started. Purpose isn't about immediate results. It's about planting seeds that may bloom long after you're gone. Shifting my perspective. Another realization came when I stopped comparing myself to others. For years, I had measured my success against the achievements of friends and colleagues. But purpose taught me that fulfillment isn't about competing, it's about alignment. When your actions align with your values, the opinions of others lose their grip on you. I no longer needed external validation to feel accomplished. The satisfaction of knowing I was contributing to something meaningful was enough. The strength in saying no. One of the hardest but most empowering lessons I learned was the power of saying no. Before discovering my purpose, I said yes to everything, afraid of disappointing others. But this left me drained and distracted. Now, I understood that every yes to something unimportant was a no to my purpose. By saying no to what didn't align with my values, I could say yes to what truly mattered. Inspiring others. As I became more intentional about my actions, people around me began to notice. Friends would ask, "How do you always seem so focused and happy?" I shared my journey with them, encouraging them to explore their own paths. Some began journaling. Others took up new hobbies. And one friend even started a charity. Purpose, I realized, wasn't just a gift to myself, it was a light I could pass on to others. A life transformed. Months turned into years. And the life I had once lived, a life of uncertainty and drifting, felt like a distant memory. My days were filled with meaning. Whether I was mentoring, creating, or simply being present with loved ones. Every choice I made, no matter how small, felt like a step toward a greater goal. And the best part? Purpose wasn't a destination I reached. It was an ongoing journey, a thread that tied all the moments of my life together. It wasn't about what I had achieved, it was about who I had become. Moral of the story: the power of purpose. Finding your purpose transforms your life from mere existence to meaningful living. Purpose gives you clarity, resilience, and the courage to pursue what truly matters. It's not about achieving perfection or grand successes. It's about aligning your actions with your values and making a positive impact, no matter how small. The lesson: purpose isn't something you find. It's something you create through intention, reflection, and action. Start today and let your purpose guide you toward fulfillment and joy. I'm so glad you spent this time with me. If you liked the story, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Take care, and see you next time.